All right, y'all, we're back after week 2 with our mega batch, and check out this sunset. It's Thanksgiving weekend here. Look at those pretty little clouds. Wow. I can't remember the last time we had weather this nice at Thanksgiving, but we'll take it. Pretty nice out. Had one good meal earlier this week, and we'll have another one tomorrow, so that'll be cool. But first, we'll check out what we got going on with all these rocks. And so far, usually, like I say every week, they're looking pretty good, just at first glance. So we'll get going and looking at some of these. Here's a few of the rocks that we looked at last week. Let's take a closer look at them. We'll start with these two again, and you know, just like last week, the polish is getting even all the way around. This little chunk we were looking at that looked like it wanted to fall off is still on there, so that's good. It still stands up on its own. Both of them do. Not losing too much mass. Again, this is obviously a bigger chunk. Some of the crystal stuff that was on top of here and on top of this little bit has rubbed off quite a bit. That was kind of to be expected. It might have just been dimples. It didn't really catch much of a shine, so, but that's kind of to be expected. It is getting nice and flat though, nice and smooth anyway. This one's looking pretty good. We're not losing too much of the crystal in our little crystal pockets on this rock, and there's quite a few of them too. But it's looking good. Nice and even all the way around, like I said. Take a look at this one again. This one had a big saw gouge in it that was pretty sharp last week. It's definitely rounded out a good bit this week. It's actually kind of right in here where my thumb is. And it's been rounded out really nicely. It's got a few little crystals kind of popping off too, just a little bit. Where are they at? And again, I did drill press polish another slab off of this rock, a very similar sized one. So we will compare and contrast those at the end. And how about this one? This one also had a saw gouge in it right there, and last week it had worn down pretty significantly from You know, it not going through any grit to the end of the first stage, and this week is the same thing. You know, you can barely see it. If you're looking at it, you can't really see it at all, but you can definitely feel an inconsistency in the surface if you rub your finger on top of it, but it's gone away quite a bit. So that's good. I'm pretty happy with that. That means that they're not getting stuck together like this and tumbling without, you know, having a whole surface get polished. So that means that they're moving around pretty freely, and that's good to see. Here we've got this chunk again. Oh yeah, you can see it glowing just a little bit in the light there. That's cool. A little bit on the edge. Yeah, super cool. That's awesome. But like I said last week, this area here with the crystal on it, I am a little bit worried about. But after stage 2, you know, it's looking really good. It hasn't lost a lot of mass, and this stuff, unless it was like a really decently sized chunk that broke off, I wouldn't expect to see in the strainer when I wash these off. This stuff would probably just grind down into dust, and it would get lost in the grit that's already in the barrel. But I'm not seeing really any loss up here, so that's good. And like I said last week, when I drill press polished another chunk of this stuff, that the crystal area on it was actually bigger. It probably went, you know, down into this area here, but that circular blade spinning around would just shoot stuff off, and so I was pretty worried with tumbling this one, thinking that we might lose a lot of that, but so far we haven't, which is good. And these are the 2 most abrasive stages, so hopefully it'll only get better. Here's these 2. We didn't really look at this one too much last week. We did look at this one, however, and same deal. It's getting a good polish all the way around. I'm not sure why some of these little epimorphs and kind of indentations on some of these rocks are really smooth and others are really rough. So I'm sure it's got to have something to do with whatever made them. But this one is looking really nice so far. Hasn't lost a lot of mass. There is a chunk kind of right in here that looks like it might want to come off, so we'll keep an eye on that. But really starting to see some of the different colors pop through, so that's really nice. We're liking that a lot. And this other chunk here's got a little crystal pocket on it, one there and one there. You can see it catching the light just a little bit, but same thing, it's looking really good. All the edges are rounded out really nicely, nice and smooth, very uniform, so that's good. Good deal. Here's a nice chunk of petrified wood. Doesn't look like we've lost too much out of this crack right here, so that's good news. Got that nice black color in the middle that a lot of petrified wood has. And even all the way around, you know, we're looking pretty good. So like I said with the last one, hopefully, since we're getting into some of the more less abrasive polishes, more of a polish instead of a sanding, the mass won't be reduced quite so much. This one's looking pretty good too. And this chunk here, not sure if it's petrified wood. I guess I could have cut this one just to find out, but whatever it is, it's got interesting colors on it. It's got the black on the outside like a lot of the petrified wood has on the inside, which I may have mentioned last week. But It's got a lot of little bumps and dimples and stuff in it too. Got a crack here where we might lose some material, but hopefully it'll stick around. Pretty decent polish all the way around, so that's good. It'll be interesting to see what this one actually looks like. If I don't have a determination on if it is it, I mean, it doesn't have a wood grain like, you know, something like this, something that you would normally see in petrified wood has, but maybe it's like a knot in a branch or a tree or something like that. So this one might end up being one that we cut through after it gets polished just to see what the heck's going on inside, but so far it's looking really nice. Here's the last two that we'll take a close look at today, and these are more normal rocks, at least ones that I haven't cut. And this one's got a nice crack in it where that iron coloring's seeping in. I don't notice that it's lost hardly any mass at all either. And as I said, pretty sure it was this one last week. It does have a lot of dimples and stuff in it, but there's a lot of nice surface area, especially on this side, that actually does look like it got cut. But it did not, at least not by me. It's got a lot of really nice surface area that's going to catch a nice polish. So when it's all said and done, this one will look really, really neat. And I'm hoping that since it's still got a lot of that iron coloring in it, that stuff will stick around. And this one we did cut just so slightly on this side, like I said last week, to get a little bit more polishable surface area. It's got some pretty deep holes in it too, and that still hasn't come out. I know I said last week I might try and pop that out of there this week, but I think we'll wait at least another week just to see what's going on, because like I said, I really don't want to take a chunk out. This wall is pretty thin right here, and I really don't want to pop that off, so we'll do our best to leave that in. The big crack that's in this one, it looks like a little chunk of this corner might want to pop off. It goes all the way around this way and kind of stops where that iron coloring seeped in there. It doesn't show too many signs of wanting to break, so hopefully it'll hold up nicely and stay together for us. As for the rest of them, this one's going to turn out really neat. I plan on highlighting this one here pretty soon after it's gotten more of a polish. Another big one, a couple of towers, and again, like I said, we'll highlight some more of these a little bit more as they get closer to the final product. But yeah, I'm really happy with what's going on. I have noticed it happened this week, and it also happened once or twice last week. I'm getting these rubber gaskets, and I've had this happen before, but just not this quickly. They're wearing holes in them where the back end of the bolt that holds the nut on, that holds the whole lid on, kind of protrudes. And at first, when it happened to me a few years ago, I thought that maybe it was because I was tightening the nuts too tight, and it was kind of creating like a vacuum that might suck the rubber a little too close, and then just as it spins around, kind of wears a hole through. But now I'm not 100% sure, because I don't tighten these down super tight because of that reason. So these are Harbor Freight tumblers, so they might not be the most consistent in their manufacturing, which is also understandable. They're cheap and they come with a pretty cheap warranty, so not a big deal. We've got spares for those, and we'll get them thrown. In stage 3 this week, I've got some aluminum oxide pre-polished grit. I usually use silicon carbide for stages 1 through 3, and then my stage 4 and my stage 5 are the white aluminum oxide. And I accidentally got the pre-polish aluminum oxide, but everything that I've read and watched basically says that it does the same thing. So we're gonna try that out, and if we don't like the results, then we'll do something else next time. But that'll be something that we're trying. And like I said, I'll quit rambling on, and we'll get these thrown into stage 3. We'll come back next week and check them out.